We have made it to Fez, Morocco, one of the oldest cities in all of North Africa. This is the main gate into the Medina, by the way, and it's one of the oldest cities in Morocco itself. It's a center for so many things. It's a cultural center all the way from music to the culinary arts. If there's one cliche about Fez, it's that strolling through this ancient walled city is like going back in time. But it's easy to see where that comes from. The Medina of Fez is old, more than 11 centuries old. Many of the buildings here can barely stand on their own. There are no cars in the old town in Fez, just people. Lots and lots of people. The city's vast maze-like alleyways are always overflowing with vendors and the occasional mule. It is where the country's Andalusian, African, and Arabian influences intersect, and in many ways it is Morocco's spiritual heart. A city historically home to both Muslims and Jews, though most Jews have left over the past half-century. Some of Fez's synagogues are being restored, but this one, for instance, is mostly for tourists. I met with lifelong resident Fawzi Scali and talked about Fez.
You know, when Muslims and Jews were expelled from Andalusia, they come here at 14th and 15th century, and they come here, and because, like I told you, it was the place where you have this diversity.
Scali is a music enthusiast. He wants Fez to still be seen as a place of religious tolerance, so he launched the World Sacred Music Festival in 1994. Each spring, it draws visitors from around the world. Scali calls it an interfaith dialogue through music.
What makes it important is that it's coming from the space of Fez, from the space of the history of Fez as well.
We actually followed one group of musicians from Algeria who'd been separated for 5 decades.
Yes.
El Gusto, Jews, Muslims.
Yes.
They all got back together.
Yeah.
And they performed at the festival.
Yes, that's absolutely true.
And that's going to be the topic of our next story. So take a look. It is getting late in Fez, Morocco. But these guys haven't missed a beat. Meet El Gusto, an Algerian orchestra whose name in Spanish means the good mood. And it's not hard to see why, because these musicians finally have something to celebrate. Once separated by war and religion, they reunited recently after more than half a century. Rachid Berkani is a founding member of El Gusto. He grew up in the Kasbah of Algiers, Algeria's capital, a cradle for music at one time, he says, because people played chaabi, a blend of Andalusian and North African folk music just about anywhere, and sometimes a cappella.
Le chaabi, c'est le mot populaire. Et vous savez, chez nous, le chaabi, on faisait des baptêmes, des mariages. Et le chaabi, ça réunit tout le monde.
And that's why Rachid, Robert Castel, and Mohamed Ferkawi have come here to play chaabi.
Et plus bas, vous avez les murailles.
It's remarkable these old friends hadn't seen each other in almost 50 years. They met because of chaabi despite religious differences. Rachid and Ferkawi are Muslim, Castel Jewish.
Il y a une histoire aussi.
Oui, et puis en plus,
pas oublier que les Juifs, ils étaient avec nous à la Casbah, ils vivaient avec nous à la Casbah. Vous voyez, on était vraiment des voisins.
But that changed with the 1962 Algerian Revolution, when nationalists claimed independence from France. As the battle raged, the notes died out. Most Algerian Jews fled, especially after a well-known musician who was Jewish was assassinated.
Nous sommes arrêtés
parce qu'en voyant des gens qui mouraient dehors, et puis on s'est arrêté nous-mêmes. On ne pouvait pas.
Castel and his family fled to Paris. The band broke up. They lost touch until 2006, when an Algerian filmmaker brought them together again. Soon after, the orchestra, newly named Al Gusto, was reborn.
L'histoire, the story, l'histoire nous a séparés. La musique nous a réunis.
On this night, fans stand in long lines to watch Al Gusto perform and hear a sound that had people in the street tapping their feet and singing along many, many years ago. Rashid is almost 80 now, but he and the others say they're just getting started. We've traveled high up now. You can feel the mountain air above the city. But after the break, we're going to tell you where it really stinks in Fez. Stay with us.